Hey everyone, happy holidays. Christmas is 10 days away, which blows my mind. And if you're anything like me, you are still doing Christmas shopping for people. So this video is going to be 5 gift ideas for people who are outdoorsy and active and also enjoy photo and video. And so all of these items are things that I personally own, have used extensively, and highly recommend. So let's take a look at what those 5 things are in this video. Alright, so right off the bat, let's start off with one of my favorite pieces of gear that I've purchased over the years, and I brag about it to everyone, and I get asked about it a lot on the trail when I'm out hiking. And that's going to be this little guy. This is the Peak Design Capture Clip, and what it is it's a mounting system basically so that you don't have to have the camera hanging around your neck via strap when you're out hiking. It's probably the most expensive one of the 6 things that I'll mention here. It's about $70, $69.99 on Peak Design's website, which I will link in the description. I love this thing. So basically what it does is it swivels up. You can attach it to any belt, any backpacking strap, etc. It has a counterpart that screws into the tripod mount on the bottom of your camera, and then that slides in and it locks in. And so it's just sitting on your chest, or at least that's where I typically have it, and it releases when you press the button and pull up, and it slides out. This is great because for years I used to have a strap hanging around my neck and a heavy camera around the neck or even across the shoulders. It's just cumbersome, it bounces around, etc., but having it right at your chest is great. They can also be put on the belt, like I said, and some people like that better. I'm not as big a fan, and especially with a heavy camera, it tends to weigh your belt down a lot. But for hiking, any kind of backpack, from thick straps to thin little straps, it's adjustable, and you just tighten it down, clamp it on. Hopefully I have some footage here to show you of that, of times that I've used it, but this is for sure, if I had to say one piece of gear that I would recommend to pretty much anyone who goes hiking with camera gear, I would recommend this. It is just fantastic. And so you can find that on their website, Peak Design. My second suggestion would be some form of, and lots of different companies make this, and they're super cheap. This is probably one of the cheapest items out of the 6, but some form of cable release or interval timer. So if you have someone who likes to do any kind of long exposure photography or night photography or astrophotography, honestly, it comes in handy for other things too, because you can just use it as a remote shutter trigger. But what it allows you to do is it allows you to program, how many seconds long the exposure is going to be, how many photos to take, with delay in between. So if you're doing things like a time lapse, you can just set it up, hit go. It just runs off some AAAs, and like I said, this is honestly like a few bucks on eBay, Amazon. They're made by tons of companies. There's lots of knockoffs. And I would say the big thing is just make sure, I guess depending on what you're looking for or what your special person that you're giving this to is looking for, things that are really nice is they do make ones that are just the button, and that's pretty basic. And if they're looking for anything that's interval or whatnot, then you want to have some sort of display that allows you to choose how long your exposures are, intervals in between, delays, things like that. Also, one other really nice feature on this guy is that it has a light on it, because when you're out shooting at night and you can't see and you're trying not to blind your camera with headlamps and stuff like that, a little light on here is really nice. Alright, third, but again, not in any particular order, is the Joby Gorilla Pod. So you've probably seen these before, but they are, it's a tripod, but the legs are flexible, and so they bend and wrap around stuff, and so you can hang it from a tree branch or wrap it around a pole, things like that, or just use it as a regular tripod that's low to the ground. I love this because it's really cheap. It's about $50 for the whole ball head bundle, etc. And it's super versatile. I've used it for a lot of different things, including hanging it off the side of a tree for vlogging in France on the trail when I did the Tour de Mont Blanc. I've used it for a lot of different things. It's really versatile, really light. and it holds the camera up to 6.5 pounds, which is most DSLRs, and definitely if they have a mirrorless or anything like that, it's going to be perfect. I will say this, get the actual Joby brand. I had some bad experiences with knockoff versions of like the legs breaking and it not holding camera's weight properly. So just get like for $50, it's not a bad deal at all. I've had this for a few years, still works great. It squeaks a little because I've had it in salt water. There it is. And don't put DW40 on it. I tried that as well. That kind of messed up one of the legs. But yeah, also really worthwhile, versatile, lightweight. Pretty much throw it in my bag anytime I'm going out hiking. Fourth on the list is some form of battery pack or power pack. I say this because these come in really handy for charging camera batteries or cell phone or GoPro batteries. Some of my lighting stuff I can charge with. So if I'm with the battery pack, so if I'm in the backcountry for a day or two, having one of these can be really handy just to kind of give a little boost to cell phone, or if I use GPS and it drains it, something like that. These come in all different shapes and sizes, different price ranges, different capacities, things like that. This little guy, for example, was about $30, and it's about one cell phone charge. This guy, I have no clue how much it cost. It was a gift. It has 2 USB outlets. It's about 2 to 3 cell phone charges. It's 10,000 milliamps. And then this guy was 200, more than 200. And I got it specifically for my computer. It has a wall outlet as well, and so that's about 1 laptop charge out of this guy, but I don't hike with it because it's heavy and big. So that's something to keep in mind, is like if they're out hiking, well, you don't want to get them something too big. And so all over in price range and whatnot. I will say this about them: don't worry about paying extra for solar capacities. Just I think people who haven't used solar stuff before have higher expectations than what are reasonable, as did I, and I learned this the hard way. Is I got a solar panel sheet panel that unfolded, and it took like all day for my phone to get like halfway charged. So just have realistic expectations on that. I wouldn't say it's a worthwhile thing to pay extra for. And don't trust all companies. For example, this one said it was solar panel chargeable, and I never saw it increase in its little light bars, so I just don't believe it. But either way, so I use it as a portable power bank now. But those are really handy because you can charge just about most of your electronic stuff. You can get a USB charger for, and so I use those quite a bit. And I always keep these two in my camera bag because they're light, small, and I use them. All right, number 5 seems like a more obvious one, or at least it would be obvious to me. And you may have already thought of it, but a GoPro or GoPro mounts if you already have a GoPro. GoPro is the leading kind of action cam company, and there's lots of different mounts for it, lots of different uses. It's great quality for the size, and it's fun to be able to look back on your adventures, strap it to the handlebars of your bike for mountain biking, or if you're a kayaker, strap it to your helmet, your wrist. I mean, they make all sorts of mounts for this, and that's part of why I listed this one, is because there's so many different things you could do with it. So they make, well, I'm not going to go into all the things they make. They make a lot. And so if you already have a GoPro, some sort of GoPro mount for what your loved one or whoever this is for does would be really good. There's lots of third-party companies that make GoPro mounts as well. They're pretty universal. There are other if you don't have an action camera yet, there are other companies that make action cameras that I've seen reviews way cheaper for pretty much similar quality. But I haven't ever used any of those, and also the issue you're going to face is the versatility and the amount of options when it comes to mounts for companies like that. So GoPro is just, they're a big name. They've got a lot of different accessories behind them, and even things like you can, their Karma, their drone uses a GoPro. So having GoPros that you can strap to other things and use for your action camera is a good option as well. So that was number 5, is just either an action camera or action camera accessories if you already have one. So there you have it. Those are the 5 items that I picked out as gift ideas. It's not a super long list, and maybe you already thought of some of them, but I wanted to choose 5 things that I specifically use and would recommend. I will put links in the description below for pretty much all of them, except for the GoPro accessories, but I'll try and link to a few options for you. Some of the things, though, you're just going to have to kind of hunt around for, depending on what you're looking for like the battery packs, for example. Maybe the one that I linked to is more than you need or not enough. So feel free to hunt around. Also wanted to say, none of these companies sponsor me in any way. These are just my personal suggestions and things that I use quite regularly. So yeah, take my word for it. I mean, I guess it kind of depends on how you use it, but hopefully it gives you some ideas. Hopefully it was helpful. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Since I probably won't make another video within the next 10 days, Merry Christmas and have a great New Year as well. Subscribe, like, and I'll see you next time.